Hey guys, my name is Neena and welcome to Desimartini. Today we have with us Rensil D'Silva, the director of Dial 100. So Rensil, welcome to Desimartini and thank you so much for joining in with us.
Most welcome. Pleasure to be on.
Right. This Dial 100 is releasing in just a few days, this week itself, and there is so much buzz about this. We have been waiting for it for so long, and it looks like a gripping thriller. Can you tell us, I mean, it's a thriller, so you can't say a lot about the film, but can you tell us one thing that we won't be expecting about this, which would shock the audiences?
Well, I don't think you've ever had a Hindi film that's gone into an emergency control room, a police emergency control room. So I think that's a first. Uh, Also, I think that very rarely do you have a story that is told in one night. So the whole story unfolds in one night. So it's almost in real time, which is a new thing also. I don't think, not new, but I don't think too many stories are told in one night. I think these two are the USPs of the film. And apart from the fact that, of course, you got Neena ji, Manoj and Sakshi, who I think are fabulous performers and they've done such justice to their roles.
Right. Since you talked about this cast, which is terrific, I would like to ask you, how did you manage to get the three of them together?
You write a good script. No, seriously,
Yes.
I know what you're saying. It's very tough. I think sometimes you get one of them. Like I had many years, in fact, 20 years ago, I had done a film called, it was my first film, Ux, in which I got Mr. Bachchan and Manoj. It was the first time I really worked with Manoj. And it's 20 years later and I'm working with him again. Sakshi, though, I have worked with in season 2 of 24. And Neena ji was new. I had never worked with her before, but I think it's fabulous that, you know, you got all three together.
Right. Also, talking about Neena ji had credited you for this role. She had said that she was not sure about playing a negative character, but it was you who, boosted her confidence and you had shown her the way to play this character. So how did you convince her to play this character?
Well, I think initially she didn't want to do it. From what I hear, my casting director sent it or told her a one line of the film. And on the basis of the one line, she didn't want to do it. And I think then I know her manager, Herman, and we sent the script over and asked her to read it, and immediately she came on board because sometimes, you know, people can tell you something about the role which may or may not really capture what the script is. And so when she read it, she was on board. And I remember the first day when she came to the set, she had 2 or 3 ways of playing the character. And we discussed it and I gave her a suggestion because I'd always seen the character that way. And I think she just took that suggestion and ran because she did a fabulous job with it. And I think she's really the highlight of this film.
Okay. So we have to, like, she's the secret bomb that you have in this entire film.
Well, we've seen Neena ji in Badai Ho. We've seen her, I think, most recently in Sardar Ka Grandson. So she's never done anything like this before. That I can be absolutely candid about. And it's going to be and I think in some way it's a second innings for her, that she's coming back in such strong roles. And this will be a complete departure. And I hope this does really, really well. I'm pretty convinced it will shake people up when they see her performance.
Also, talking about, in your earlier interviews for Dial 100, you have spoken about how you came across the script. You talked about how you got a call one day about someone who did not want to live anymore. And you also talked about how you have heard calls into that comes to the emergency room and things that can shake you up. So, dealing with these stories, when you hear a lot of these stories, it really affects you mentally in a way. So did it affect you, or if it did, how did you get over it, and how did it shape Dial 100?
I can't say it. Yes, it was when I think 20 years ago when I took that call. It completely threw me because I was not. I mean, no one gets calls like this, right? Who gets calls like this? So it threw me. Um, Writers and creative people tend to be more sensitive. So I understood where this person was coming from, where he felt depressed or he felt that no one was giving him the right breaks. Um, I didn't go through anything personally, but yes, if it stayed with me, for anything to stay with you 20 years means it made an impact on you that night. Uh, I also think this is the right time for a subject like this to come out because people are more aware today of mental health issues. They are more receptive to look out. I mean, to ask for help or to call up someone. Because when I actually went with Siddharth Malhotra, my producer, to the emergency control room in Crawford Market, the Mumbai Commissioner of Police was very gracious. He said, "Why don't you go and just see how my officers work?" And I remember Siddharth and I went there, and these officers are not like officers you see in a police chowki or on the streets. They're trained to take calls like this day in and day out, and in a day, I don't know, innumerable numbers of calls. Maybe you can take something like 10, 12, 15 calls a day. So each of them is a life-threatening situation, someone in distress, someone depressed. So I often wonder really how they do this every day, how they go to work every day and continue to do this job. But it's very good territory to make a dramatic film because we've never done it before in Hindi films. We've never gone inside a commercial, in commercial films, we've never gone to an emergency control room. And I think it'll be a first. It'll be exciting for an audience to watch.
Absolutely. Also, you are both the writer and the director for this film. So, when you, as a writer and a director, you find, how do I put it? Like whatever you have envisioned for the film, that comes through one person. But when you are just a writer of a script and someone else is directing it, do you feel that there is a gap between what you want to convey and what is conveyed?
Not always, but I would say a majority of the time, yes, because there is some loss in translation and it is not someone's fault. It is not that the director wanted to lose that much information. It is just that like they say, right, when I tell you a joke and you tell that joke to the next person, you will either add something or you will minus something, right? Now, what you add or minus, I may not agree with. In the case of a writer director, there is no such problem because from the start to the final film, which is released to an audience, there is no loss in translation, is what I think. Luckily, I was an ad filmmaker before or simultaneously with becoming a writer. So I was always technically sound to direct my own material. I think that's very important. You have to also be technically sound to direct your material.
Okay. Also, talking about directing, it was announced just a few days back that you would be directing an espionage thriller called Panthers.
This is the first time really that I'm doing a spy espionage thriller. And so it's the first time I think Blue Monkey and RSVP are doing it too. So, but it's very thrilling. It's a very important part of our history. When RAW as a intelligence agency was coming up in the 70s, we've never really seen a spy thriller, what it was to be a spy at that time. So it's a period drama also. And it revolves around a very important incident where they nearly hijacked the plane on which Rajiv Gandhi was piloting, which is history. And so it's really quite a fantastic story.
And we would expect it by probably 2022, right? Since it's, I think, going on floors by
Yeah,
last
next
half of
year,
21.
the next year,
Next.
I think by April we should be on floor.
That's exciting. Also, lastly, I would want to ask you this. We have been going through a really tough time. It's the time of the pandemic, and shooting during this time can get really, really challenging. Did you face any challenges as such while shooting for Dial 100?
Yeah, you're right. It is a very challenging time. It's quite stressful to be a director because you don't know when you'll have to close down a set. If even one person gets COVID, you're going to close down a set and then start testing everyone and then come back. And by that time, you've lost dates of actors and you've more importantly lost money. So this is a time when it really is starting to affect people, especially filmmakers who are in the process of making a film or holding film for release in theaters. I was very lucky that I finished the shoot in 16 days and no one got sick. And I could only do this because I had such a fabulous cast that in 3 or 4 takes, everyone, they gave me what I wanted. I had a great crew. I had Anuj Dhawan behind camera, who was a great cameraman. He was really fast and good. Not normally you don't get both, but I had a great crew. People I've always made ad films with for like decades. So they know exactly what I want as a shorthand, and we finished in 16 days. Otherwise, all my other shoots like 24 and all have gone into 150 days and 80 days and 9. And which case you are surely going to have, if you're 80 days and 50 days, someone is going to get COVID. At least now people are getting vaccinated. When I made Dial 100, vaccination had not even started. So it was an even bigger problem.
Yeah, in fact, even Manoj Bajpayee ji had gotten COVID some months later. Last year, it happened. So, yes. Thankfully, it was done before anybody got infected. And now it's all ready for release. It's all ready for us to see. Best of luck for the film. Best of luck for Dial 100. And also best of luck for Panthers.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And it was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope audiences like it.
Yes. Given the trailer, it was really gripping. Like, from a very audience perspective, I'm waiting to see it. We haven't seen something like this where, there's a mother, there's a desperate mother who's playing a negative character. So it's interesting to see how, with this emotional touch, Neena ji would be bringing in this character. Like, I'm super excited.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rensil ji, for joining in with Desimartini, and best of luck for Dial 100.
Thank you. Thank you so much.